Bismillah. For the first part of this series of videos, inshallah, we're going to explore about audit in general. Yeah. Now, the word audit itself, okay, it's important for us to recap again what is the meaning of audit. Technically, it basically means official inspection or checking of an organizational account or records. So the organization here that we are dealing with would be academic departments or in CFS, yeah. And the auditor is basically the person conducting the inspection or the checking. And the ISO 9001 2015, this will be our reference for any kind of findings in particular. It is also important, especially for the new ones here, to also know what does it actually means here. So in brief, ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. It is a particular organization that frame a certain standard of a certain standard for any kind of organization of process to follow. 9001 is referring to the type of quality management system. Okay, in particular, 9001 is basically general for many kind of organization to manage their organization. There are also several other coding, different types of ISO available. You can also Google on its own. I'm also an auditor for 1900. Okay, there's another standard. 1900 is basically the Sharia. Okay, Sharia quality management system. So there's also other coding there relevant to certain industry. Okay, so 9001 is basically the most general one as compared to other coding. And 2015 here refers to the year that the standard was being published. Okay, just for extra information, yeah, last time that I attended the ISO training, the SIRIM trainer actually mentioned that in 2021 actually, they were planning to revise, okay, the standard in particular, but however, probably due to the COVID outbreak, it was somehow delayed. So probably we are going to be listening to any kind of update very soon enough. Okay, though I don't believe that there will be major changes in particular, right? But I do believe that last time the trainer actually shared that the certain philosophies are changing. Like for example, the upcoming version would be focusing more on trust-based audit. Okay, so right now at the moment for the 2015 version, it is more focused on process and risk-based audit. Risk-based audit. Now, as a reminder, the main intention for audit is to find areas of improvement. I would like to also encourage the auditors and team leaders when introducing themselves to remind the auditee as well as to remind ourselves that it is not a fault-finding session, okay, and don't voice it out as a fault-finding session. Focus more on, giving assistance to detecting areas of improvement for the particular department. Now, in general, okay, so in a nutshell, yeah, so you can also Google the ISO standard 9001 2015. It is available in our IUM website, IUM website, in KCA's website, in which it outlines 10 clauses. Okay, 10 clauses starting from 4 to 10, which define the standards to be checked. Okay. However, I don't want to delve into that, okay, very particularly, because you will learn that if you have the chance to advance yourself and take the ISO courses, yeah. But for now, okay, because I don't want to scare you with the clauses, because learning about the clauses can get scary. I remember the first time I learned those things. But in a nutshell, I want to focus on in a nutshell. It is basically a standard to check, okay, the PDCA cycle. So all the clauses are revolved around these 4 things here. So the first one would be, P. Okay, start with P. P, that means plan, do, check, and act. So for whatever process, they should have this kind of cycle, right? So they should have this kind of cycle. So the process of, let's say, a lecturer planning to teach the class. So there's a planning process, there's an implementation or the doing process, and there's an act of checking. okay, checking what have been done. Okay, that means there must be like an assessment of what is being done. Okay, that means like for example, for the teachers or lecturers teaching, they teach, right? They do, they plan what they want to teach, they teach, and then they also check whatever that they are teaching by looking at SFS, for example, student feedback survey, or by immediate feedback by the students when they say that they don't understand a lecturer's teaching dan sebagainya. Okay, so that's a form of checking what we do. Okay, and then after checking what we do, we act upon it. That means we somehow improve it. Okay, so after we check and then we notice there's some weakness in the process that we are doing. Okay, in this example here, I'm citing an example of teaching and learning. So after receiving feedback from students, okay, about our teaching skills, for example, or the classes that we conduct, we then rectify it by improving whatever that has been highlighted from the students. So there's all this is just an example of a process of teaching and learning, and this is applicable to any process. Okay, applicable to any process, be it in a factory, be it in the process of preparing question. Okay, so every process goes through the PDCA cycle, and the ISO 9001:2015 focuses on these 4 aspects of PDCA cycle. Now, the core ideas or principle of the ISO 9001:2015 would be only 2 that I wanted to focus on, which is number 1 is process focus. Okay, so that's why when you interview, you want to interview what do they do, and then you highlight. Okay, you listen to the process that they go through, and then you highlight. Okay, so you ask, you begin by asking, okay, how do you prepare your final examination question? So you are highlighting the process. So when you are interviewing, you ask that question, and then they will mention, first at the moment, firstly, we would receive the instruction by the HOD, and then after that, the instruction is given to the course leader. Then the course leader will, and then etc. 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 So the process will go through. After that, then you may ask question in between when they are explaining the process there. So it is process focus. So you start off checking by looking at the process. Now, another principle of ISO 9001:2015 would be that it is risk focused. Okay, meaning to say that it is focused on looking at risks. Okay, just like this person, your task as an auditor, you want to give certain scenario that is realistic. Okay, at the same time posing risk to any kind of processes that they are doing. For example, they say that the way we vet our question is by online, and we convey the question through an email. Okay, then you as an auditor might ask, so you identify there's a risky element there in that process there, and then you ask, what if, how do you make sure that this emailing of confidential question is done safely, that it doesn't leak to accidental keying in the wrong email address or sending it to other people or potential hacker, etc. So that's an example of when you listen to the process, you also highlight, is there any risks involved in certain process, and you don't become paranoid. There's a limit to asking this, not to the extent whereby it's paranoid. That's why I said the risk is realistic. There's a high chance that it may occur, and then that's when you ask, and then you focus on how does that department help the department discover ways, like this person here, stop from the the bricks falling, for example, from the process falling. So don't focus on blaming, don't focus on telling them that they did not think well, and etc. Focus on, once you identify a potential risk, focus on developing ways in order to reduce the risk. And the processes that can be audited are from the department receive class list to anything in between here until the department submit results to ODIL. So anything in between here, there are a lot lah. Preparation of question, teaching and learning, monitoring of students' attendance, doing replacement class, consultation, etc. Anything in between can be audited. And inshallah, we're going to proceed with the next part.